Hello, welcome to another video. Today I want to talk about just Jalen Hurts and kind of, in my opinion at least, what the Super Bowl win, Super Bowl MVP, everything like that kind of does for his legacy, mainly because he's gotten so much flack this year, this entire postseason, because he doesn't throw as much, he doesn't have the sexy passing yards numbers, and mainly he's not winning how people want him to win. I've never cared. He doesn't seem to give a shit either. He clearly can throw the ball deep when he wants, when he's in a good rhythm. He pretty much unreal. He doesn't make the killing mistakes. And I think that is the biggest quality for him. And I know people have got on board with the idea that he's a game manager. And I would definitely consider him a modern day game manager, not in a bad way, but in the sense of he can realistically make any throw he ever needs to, as shown in the deep ball to Devontae Smith. They're up 27 points. Fuck it. He threw the ball 50 yards in the air. Perfect throw. Right in the basket. He's done it all season with deep throws. Even better, it was over the middle, because everyone always says how he can only throw outside the numbers, yada yada. Dead center in the field on a post route. Devontae Smith just burned him. He threw it perfectly. And now pivoting to me calling him a modern day game manager, in the fact that he understands how the team is built. They have an amazing O-line, Saquon Barkley. How Hurts played this season turned into the fact of Saquon Barkley can rush for 2,000 yards. And I remember last offseason when we signed Saquon Barkley, I wasn't fully on board, I'll admit that, and I was wrong, obviously. I didn't hate the move, mainly because it really wasn't that much money. I mean, I've always been in the camp of running backs really don't have much value. I feel that way especially in the draft. I'm against every first round running back taken. They have a very short life cycle. They're pretty much a rookie deal, and then you don't want to pay them. So if that's the case, why not draft someone in the third or fourth round, build the O-line in the earlier rounds so that they can thrive in that, and just rinse and repeat. O-linemen play a lot longer. They make more money, all this kind of stuff. That's more of the value in my head. That's how I've always processed it. Saquon Barkley signing, I was wrong, and I don't really give a shit because he ran for 2,000 yards. And when it happened, I had the kind of fear of they have Jalen Hurts, they have A.J. Brown, they have Devontae Smith, they have Dallas Goedert, they have Saquon Barkley. Then they trade for Jahan Dotson. And it's my first thought was, there is only one football on the field. You can't, it's not, it would be ridiculous to be A.J. Brown's going to be insane. Devontae Smith is also going to be insane, while Barkley also breaking the rushing record, while also Jalen Hurts having these passing yards plus his rushing yards, stuff like that. If that was the case with the offense, they would literally never lose a game. And I had some fears with certain people being upset with how the offense would have its struggles. Every team has an offense or defense, everything. They go through, some adversity. Every team does it, and I was worried about that going into the season. Happened at times. End of the day, they won the Super Bowl because everything was so good. It was just overwhelming. If something else didn't work well, they could go to the other thing. And all season, for Jalen Hurts, he said, yep, the run game is literally unfucking stoppable. Saquon Barkley is insane. I'm going to do my job. I'm going to hand it off to Saquon Barkley. If I'm needed to pass it, let's say in the Steelers game in the regular season, he will easily do that if they stop Saquon. It's not the end of the world if Saquon were to not have his best game, because Jalen Hurts can throw the ball to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. And even when the rushing was, going off, Jalen Hurts was making every throw he needed to throw. The most important thing Jalen Hurts needs to do in this offense, in this team, is not fuck up, not turn the ball over, not take the ball out of the offense's hand. He did that all season. It was his most efficient season, and it clearly showed that it was the most important thing for this team. And I think, honestly, Jalen Hurts is going to continuously just do the most important thing for the team. He doesn't give a shit. He was here to win Super Bowls, and I have full faith that he's always going to. And after the season, there's been a lot of talk of where does Jalen Hurts end up in the top 10 of quarterbacks in the season. Like, he definitely gets up to like the top 5. And I know Eagles fans might be upset with me saying this. I don't think talent-wise that he is better than, the Mahomes, Lamar, Josh, and Joe Burrow. I don't think so. That's fine by me. He does so many other intangible things where it's like, I don't really give a shit because he wins games. Like, right now, I would put him as number 2 in the NFL as just pure winner, And I would rather that, realistically. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is like number 1 for every QB anything. He's won how many Super Bowls, every big game he's great in. He's been, it would be ridiculous to put him there. Like, oh, in the Super Bowl he beat him, sure. So let's put Jalen Hurts as the best quarterback for right now if you want, because I don't give a shit. He did win a Super Bowl. He is the best. But realistically, looking at the league, going into next year, I would have him at 5 or 6. Him and Justin Herbert, talent-wise, yeah. People will say Justin Herbert has the arm talent over Jalen Hurts. I would say I don't really give a shit because Jalen Hurts doesn't fuck up in the biggest games of his career like Justin Herbert has. And I think it's just fucking ridiculous when people are like, well, if you put Josh Allen on the Eagles, well, yeah, he would have beaten Patrick Mahomes too. I'm sorry, I don't live in fucking make-believe land. Hate to break it to you. I live in reality where Josh Allen's on the Bills and he's going to only ever be on the Bills. He'll never play a snap on the Eagles. And Jalen Hurts is the one on the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is the one that has everything around him that he can't control, just thrives in the areas that he can control and wins games. Josh Allen, great talent, everything. He has continuously lost to Patrick Mahomes over and over and over and over again. And yeah, you have to take that away from him. Lamar Jackson, he's lost to Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs over and over and over again. There's a reason he's never been to the Super Bowl. There's a reason Josh Allen's never been to the Super Bowl. They can't pass the hump. They can't figure it out. And the idea that, just because Jalen Hurts' team is better around him negates, what he's able to do is ridiculous. Because Jalen Hurts doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give your shit opinion of ifs. He goes out there and plays football and wins Super Bowls. That's all he has to do. It's ridiculous. And I think going forward, it's so nice knowing that he is a Super Bowl champion, because the idea that, he's just a game manager and stuff is different in the fact of he's vastly, in my opinion, more talented than someone like Eli Manning, which you could put the argument of like, but he's a winner, but he isn't that as talented as the top guys. He is significantly more talented than what Eli Manning was at that time. Eli Manning is a winner. He's a Hall of Famer, everything like that. Not to take it away from him. But individual stats, I could argue Jalen Hurts is already have like the higher peaks than Eli Manning in a season. Mainly Eli Manning, different era, never ran the football, couldn't run the football. Just he's a Manning. He throws the football a lot better than a lot of other people. But Jalen Hurts is a winner. He runs better. He's been a MVP runner-up. He has more years where I think he's only going to also get better individually. The team is built to keep winning also. So I have full faith. And Jalen Hurts continuously only wins. I think this does a lot for Jalen Hurts' legacy. I think this easily puts him up in that upper echelon of QBs in the MLB, in the NFL right now. Because there's only a few of them that can say they beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. Joe Burrow did it once and then shit the bed, kinda, in the Super Bowl. He didn't win the Super Bowl, so he shit the bed in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts has outplayed Patrick Mahomes 2 times in the Super Bowl, in every time he's played him in the playoffs. I'm pretty sure in the regular season game, you could argue Eagles won. Probably close in their individual performances. I think Patrick Mahomes had less than 200 yards that game too. So, Jalen Hurts is a winner. He shows up every big game he has to, and he hasn't shit the bed. Even in their playoff losses, when he hasn't played his best, it wasn't necessarily, Jalen Hurts literally threw us out of the fucking playoff game because he pulled a Justin Herbert and threw 4 interceptions. Jalen Hurts hasn't gone into a playoff game as a favorite and lost by, 30 points, whatever happened with Justin Herbert. The amount of shit that Justin Herbert needs to get for that game, that Jared Goff needs to for being a huge favorite at home and completely shitting the bed. Jalen Hurts did not do that, and he's never done that. And I don't think he ever will. He's just intangibles smarter than that. He understands what he has to do. And if people don't want to understand that or give him the credit for that, go ahead and continuously doubt him, because he already has a Super Bowl and all those quarterbacks barely have playoff wins. You know, Jared Goff was absolutely useless in the Super Bowl when he's been there. Jalen Hurts has been quite literally an MVP in one and an argument for MVP in one that he lost. So, I don't know. Hate on Jalen Hurts all you want. I'll never hate on him again. This did so much for his legacy to stamp him as a Super Bowl winner. Also, the fact that he won the Super Bowl MVP adds kind of that individual, reasoning of he showed up in the fucking big moment. The defense obviously was insane, but that doesn't mean Jalen Hurts didn't also play one of his best games of the season, which he 100% did. He had one mistake. So to anyone doubting Jalen Hurts still, I don't know, continue to do so. I feel like you're probably going to continue to look stupid if you call him an average quarterback, whatnot. Sure, I don't know. He continues to win. He's literally only had winning seasons since being a starter. The fact that he had a winning season the first year, which people continuously just act as if nothing. That roster was fucking god-awful. Last year's defense was the worst in football. Just ignore that, though. That's the whole reason they lost in the playoffs, plus the added fact that they had, A.J. Brown injured and whatnot. Yeah, it happens. Injuries happen. You can't really make it an excuse, but he shows up every time he needs to. And you can't say that about a lot of quarterbacks, even, the most talented ones in the league. So I understand. I'd have two different top 10s. Top 10 QB talents. I would have them at 5 or 6. Fuck it. Flip a coin with Justin Herbert. Some Eagles fans might be pissed off about that, but it's fine. I think as a winner, the more important stat of being a winner, he's number 2. And you really can't take that away from him until someone else beats Patrick Mahomes or beats him in the playoffs and goes off and wins a Super Bowl while also performing, I would have Matthew Stafford probably at 3 on the winners list. Josh Allen doesn't win shit. Lamar Jackson looks unreal. Plays like shit when it matters. Justin Herbert plays like shit. This season for Justin Herbert was his most efficient season. Maybe one of the best ever for any QBs with how little he turned the ball over. And then in the playoffs when, most important game ever in his career at that moment, he quite literally shit his pants and threw 4 interceptions. I don't care if some were tipped. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. He had the best scoring defense in the NFL, and he still shit the bed. So, is what it is, I guess. I'm sure Justin Herbert will eventually, progress and do better as he gets better options, stuff like that. But we don't know until we see it. And I've seen Jalen Hurts win a Super Bowl. So, I'd take Jalen Hurts over Justin Herbert in a fucking heartbeat. But that is going to do it for this video. Be sure to leave your comments on what you think of Jalen Hurts now after the Super Bowl. If your opinions change, if you want to be stubborn and still say he's average and not that good, yada yada, you're wrong, but oh fucking well. Be sure to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed and consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.